Hello everyone, my name is Ryan. I apologize beforehand if my throat gets a little dry. I've been munching on this bag of popcorners and they're just delicious, so I can't stop. Anyways, and I apologize if I mess up my words a little bit. I haven't obviously not recorded a video in a while. Anyways, I thought what I'd do here is I'd record a little story time and I just talk to the microphone and tell a few of my stories in the past, and I wanted to make a little series out of this. And I apologize if you hear my chair squeaking. It squeaks whenever you move anything, even if you lean over too far on your elbow. So the topic of today's stories is myself and my relationship with my teachers. When I was a little kid, I used to always get along really, really well with the teachers. I used to never hang out with any of the other kids. I would just hang out with the teachers. I don't know why. It could be because I was socially awkward. It could be because I was like the reverse of a cougar. Who knows? But I always had a really great relationship. All my teachers absolutely loved me. But it 100% changed, like a huge 180 by the time I hit fifth grade. It was like something snapped, and now all my teachers hated me, because I was probably like a little shit or something. But I remember in fucking fifth grade, I had this teacher, and she was like the fucking strictest teacher ever, like in the whole fucking school. And if you sneezed in her class, she'd fucking call you out and send you to the principal's office for interrupting her lecture, and because you totally did it on purpose. That's not what happened to me, but she got really angry at me. But what I did, I 100% deserved. But not really. We went on this field trip and to Richmond, because I live in Northern Virginia, right outside of D.C. Anyway, so we went to the capital of Virginia, which is Richmond, and it was like a 3-hour bus ride down there. And before we went on a trip, she collected all the fifth graders, and she's like, "Look, you little shits. Listen, if one of you makes this difficult for me, there's gonna be teachers there from all over the county. If one of you guys embarrasses me in front of them, you'll sit right next to me on the whole 3-hour trip, and I'll make your life fucking miserable." I mean, she didn't obviously say it like that, but that's sort of the vibe she gave. So everyone was on their best behavior, and I didn't want to sit with her because she was a fucking lunatic. So I tried really hard to be good, and I ended up sitting next to this girl who totally had a crush on me on the bus, and she was just fucking freaking out next to me, giggling constantly. I don't know. And we were talking a bit, but mostly it was just her fucking freaking out. Anyway, so we got there, and I guess I was a little bit cocky because I'm like, this girl's totally into me. So I was acting a little bit like a little shit. And we were listening to a presentation by a bunch of actors who were pretending to be like the founding fathers. One of them being George Washington, and it was the whole reenactment of the "Give Me Liberty" or "Give Me Death." It was in the actual place. No, it wasn't actually in the place, because that didn't take place in fucking Richmond. So I don't know why we went all the way to fucking Richmond to watch this. But yeah, it was a reenactment of that speech. And I was looking around, and it was alive. It wasn't on a stage. It was in a fucking church for some reason. And so the actors would sit with the audience in the pews, and I fucking looked 3 rows behind me, and fucking George Washington's sitting there, and the guy, it's obviously an actor, and the actor just looks so fucking bored. You could just look at his face, and he's like, "I've fucking been here 5 hours today. I do this fucking every day, saying the same fucking speech from goddamn Paul Revere or something, and I fucking hate myself. I fucking hate everything. I hate this fucking job. I gotta do this for another 3 days this week." And he just looked fucking done with it, and I noticed that. And after the performance, they're asking for questions, and no one's really asking questions because no one fucking cares about goddamn George Washington and what the fuck he did 200 years ago, because we've been learning about it since we were in preschool. So no one really cares. No one's really asking questions. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna impress this girl. I'm gonna make a funny joke. And so I lift my hand up. I'm like, yo, what's up, George Washington, bro? How come you looked like completely bored the whole time, like you didn't understand at all what was going on in front of you? You looked like an idiot. And George Washington looked a little bit caught off guard, and he's just like, George Washington, and he was in character the whole time. He's like, George Washington was a very focused man with a very non-revealing face. He liked to sit back and watch what was going to happen more than participating. And I was like, fucking cool, bro. I thought you were just gonna not pay attention to my question. So afterwards, after the sort of thing, I had a feeling I was going to get called out for making fun of George Washington, even though it wasn't really that fucking big of a joke. Like, it wasn't a big deal joke. It was a horrible joke. No one laughed, and but I was fucking pretty proud of myself. Anyways, afterwards, we go to, like, the back of the church, which is a fucking cemetery. It was really fucking weird for a bunch of 5th graders. And I see this fucking bitch of a teacher gets out there fucking red in the face, like red. And she's looking all over the place, and I hide from her behind a fucking tombstone, because this girl's gonna fucking rip me a new one, because I don't know why. Anyway, so I didn't have to sit with her on the ride back. I was sitting with the girl, and I was just talking to her the whole time, but completely forgot this whole thing happened until like 2 weeks later. It took her 2 fucking weeks to like call my teacher. I'm like, hey Ryan, you gotta go talk to Mrs. Asshole. She wants to have a word with you. And I got there, and she was like, you fucking little piece of shit. If you fucking embarrass me in front of those teachers. I had teachers looking at me and asking me like, oh, who's this kid? Who is this kid who thinks he can disrespect our founding fathers? Even though it was fucking actors who clearly didn't give a shit that they were there. And she's like, oh, you better not fucking do that again. I swear to God. I mean, obviously she didn't use all the language. She was just really fucking pissed off at me. Anyway, so yeah, since 5th grade, teachers started fucking hating me. I had one 5th grade teacher, completely separate event than the first 5th grade teacher, but I had one 5th grade teacher who was a really big fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is a football team, if you're not familiar. Like, really fucking obsessed. Like, everything in this classroom was goddamn Steelers. And I was a fucking 5th grader, and I was walking next to him. We were coming back from recess, if anyone remembers recess. That was a thing. So we're walking back from recess in a single fucking file line. I walk up to him. I walk right next to him, and I'm like, I'm gonna be so funny. Hey, mister. And he looks at me. I'm like, the Steelers are dumb. And he doesn't fucking, his face doesn't move. He's stone-faced. He looks at me for like 5 seconds while walking. He doesn't even look forward. Just stares at me. Stares at my eyes, knows my soul. And like a fucking serial killer. He's just a little smirk. And then we get back to the building, and I'm about to walk in, and he puts his hand in the center of my chest and doesn't say a fucking word. I'm like, huh? And so he lets every other person go inside the school, and he keeps his hand on my chest, and he walks in the building, closes the door, takes out his key, and locks the fucking door, and then just leaves. He just leaves. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm just outside the school now. And I fucking ended up banging on the door until some student let me in. And that student got in trouble from the teacher. The teacher's like, why the fuck would you let him in? I clearly locked him out. But, yeah, no, that teacher hated me. And for no reason. But, like, later into my student career, I started deserving the hate a little bit more, because I ended up being, like, a huge slacker in school. I wasn't even a procrastinator, but it's because procrastinating is just putting it off until you do it at the last minute. I didn't even fucking do it at the last minute. I was just a huge slacker in school. And to the point where, like, I didn't even like participating in gym. I mean, no one likes gym, but I didn't even fucking do the little things in gym. If you live in the United States, you're probably familiar with, I mean, I've heard it called a lot of different things. We call it the PACER test, which I've also heard it called the BEEP test and the BEEP DEEP test. It's basically where there's 2 lines that are about, like, a couple, like 10 meters, I don't know, like a basketball court away from each other. And you have to run in between the lines, and you have to get past the line before you hear a ding, like a beep. Anyways, so you have to you hear a beep and you have to be on the other side of the line. It goes back and forth over and over and over and over again. The moment you hear the beep, you have to go back to the other line. And so I hated that test. Everyone hates that test. If anyone who's listening to this and watching this sees this video and knows what I'm talking about, you hate that test too. And one day in middle school, we showed up to class. I didn't know what we were going to do, and they're like, guess what, we're fucking doing the pacer. I'm like, fuck, I really am not in the mood for doing the pacer. So everything's set up, and we have to go. So we get on the line on one end of our basketball court, and on both ends of the basketball court with the baskets, there are doors right behind the baskets. So we're running from one line to the other, and the lines are right in front of these sets of doors. So we're running back and forth, and I noticed on like the third time we're going back and forth, I noticed that there's a door open directly in front of me while I'm running to one of the lines. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna fucking do it. So I look around, and there's no teachers around. So when we run to that end of the basketball court, we go past the line. I didn't fucking stop at the line. I fucking just ran past it, and I ran through the door. And so I'm out in the gym lobby, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, did anyone notice? Is anyone gonna fucking come and get me? So I look around, and no one noticed. So I'm like, fuck, I got away with it. So I wait like another 5 minutes, and they're at like, ding, level 44. No, it goes like, ding, 45, bing, 55. And so I'm like, this is the perfect time to jump in. So I hold my breath for like 5 seconds and get my face all red, because I'm very easily out of breath. And so I get my face all red. I go to the water fountain. I get some water, and I put it around the top of my forehead to make it look like I was sweating. And I walk in, and I go up to the teacher. I'm like, I got 56. That was my score. And he's like, okay. And so I just fucking walked away. And so I didn't have to do the fucking pacer that day, because I'm a fucking slacker. But I don't know if I got like a reputation for someone who doesn't fucking do work in any class, even gym, because in algebra the same year, I'm in algebra class, and I almost never turned any of the homework in. But there was this one week, I'm like, you know what, fucking, I don't do any work in this class. I'm going to start doing the homework, because it's like 10% of the grade. I could use 10% more. It's just fucking, I mean, she literally posts the answers online, so you can just copy them down. So there's a week I did all the homework, and then I had to come in after school to make up a test. And so I come in after school, and she comes and she's like, Ryan, I can't fucking believe you. You know, you're such a slacker. She doesn't say that, but she's like, Ryan, you really need to put more effort into class. You don't turn any homework in. I'm like, no. I've been turning in my homework for the past like week and a half at this point. And she's like, no, you haven't. I had the grade book right here. And she fucking opens up the grade book. And this is one of those classrooms with 2 teachers in it. And so one teacher collects the homework, and the other teaches. And this is the person who doesn't collect the homework, who's like, oh, fucking, you don't ever turn it in. I'm like, yes, I do. I watch her check the paper to make sure I got my homework. Like, I watch her put the check mark down. It says, Ryan Gordon did his homework today. And she's like, no, you fucking didn't. And it's on the computer, because like 2012 at this point, or 2013. I don't know, fucking clue. I can't do math. Clearly, I'm failing the class. So she's like, it says right here you didn't do any homework. I'm like, well, fuck that, and I get really fucking pissed off, because I sat down and I tried. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stop being a slacker. I'm gonna turn in my homework. And she's just like you didn't fucking do it. So I'm fucking pissed. I'm like, I did these homeworks. She's like, well, I mean, if you can turn in the homework, if you can show me if you still have it, I mean, I'll give you credit. And I'm looking through my backpack. I'm like, I don't fucking have these papers. I turn them in, and then they fucking throw them away. But I fucking did it. It's not even like, well, did I do that? Like, I questioning myself. Like, I did the homework, and I know to this point in my life that I did the homework. I didn't have the fucking papers with me, because I fucking throw them out afterwards, because who gives a shit about, like, algebra? So I'm like, no, I don't have the fucking papers. And she's like, Oh, well, I guess I can't give you credit for those homeworks. You're gonna have to try harder. And I'm so fucking pissed at this point that I make some smart ass remark. I'm like, well, okay, so next time I do my job and I do my homework, I'll make sure you do your job and you fucking write it down. I don't say fucking, but she's like, that was rude. And I'm like, well, it made me feel better, so I mean, I'm glad I said it. Because I was just being honest, like, I didn't give a shit. I'm not going to lie to her, like, come up with some sick comeback. I'm just like, well, it made me feel better because I said it. And she's like, well, it didn't get you any points. I'm like, neither did my homework. And then she fucking kicked me out of the classroom. So, fucking get locked out of classes by teachers, get fucking thrown out of classes by teachers. So I guess teachers don't like me anymore. Anyways, so if you enjoyed this story, let me know. I'm probably going to put more stories up in the future. Anyway, from your friend Ryan, have a good one. See ya.